All right, everyone. We are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, your chief host of the show, and joining me today is none other than my co-host Noble.
Good morning. I need to get a mallet.
What the hell do you need a mallet for?
Look at my profile picture.
Oh,
You know, I actually not gonna lie. I actually want to see just how comical it is to use a mallet with somebody's mouth bashing things in.
I mean, I hope you got good dental care.
Jaws
Yeah.
like a hyena, wouldn't have to worry about that.
Or
Oh
so we
no,
hope.
no. Oh no, no! Like you know how they do it in 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 animal-based cartoons where it's inatomically impossible for animals to use the hammers with their paws. Yeah, animals wouldn't have to worry about dental care,
True, true. That's a good point.
unless of course you're doing the cheat method, My Little Pony.
Yeah, no.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I mean, not to mention here myself, Gil, the schizo psycho, ready and willing to talk a lot of more shit.
Always, always. That's the plan. And I didn't
Mm.
even have to introduce you myself.
Oh yeah, got a little sidetracked, but hey, I mean, I took the lead there. Anyhow, Jolt, I mean, let's see what we have for today.
And today we're going to preface this little show with something a little bit outlandishly what eyebrow raising
Oh boy.
and the cause for concern if for those of you who yes love squirrels or are squirrels like yours truly.
Square. Keir
Yes.
Starmer orders mass roundup and destruction of red squirrels. Cites they are the symbol of white British resistance against immigration. Huh?
Now we're
What?
talking about the current head honcho of the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister himself,
Ah, yes, Keir
who's called for
Stalin.
this. Yes.
Oh my god. So you're just gonna round up, like each and every squirrel just because of peanuts.
Y- Apparently
My,
so. So,
my dude. Yeah.
like,
Ah, he just doesn't understand how much of a shit show that's gonna cause if he ever goes through with that.
you do know that it's been quite a thing that squirrels will raise an army and take over the world, right? Is that not something that he realizes?
No, it's not only that too, but he d- doesn't he? You seen that after that Peanut was killed, the reaction from people, right? And now he wants to do that on the countrywide scale.
Yes.
Well,
Like,
Why?
the wasn't that squirrel thing you were talking about in the US, and this is
Yeah.
England?
Yep.
yeah, let me ask you a question. What happens when the government? How do people react when it's in public air when the government kill a squirrel in cold blood?
No, it
Yep.
wasn't cold blood. It was due to stupidity.
Yes,
Utter,
yes.
unhinged, ridiculous stupidity.
And what do you think this is? Probably the same thing, but on a countrywide scale.
So when I see something like this, I have to sit back and think. Now, do I really want to give a person like this a platform to express their opinions? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I want to sit there with a bucket of popcorn enjoying the fallout? Abso-fucking-lutely. Am I going to laugh my head off?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. There, giggle
Kids
doggy.
like this.
Oh my god.
I swear to God, the idea of nuking an entire species of animals because of racism is fucking hilarious to me.
This gonna
If
have.
this is what you want to spend your time and money doing, Well, let's just see how long you last in politics.
Yep. Oh my God.
or even
Yeah.
the whole freaking country too. For as a matter of fact,
Oh, there. Then also, I mean, there's a boombox that said, "Is there no animal rights in the UK?" It sort of begs the question too, because clearly, yes, they are, but animal rights only for the animals that count, apparently, right?
In Australia, I don't know if this is true in England, but here it comes down to whether or not A, the animal is native, or B, if it's an invasive species. If it's native, good fucking luck. If it's an invasive species, whatever like legal projectile you can have, you can basically go and nuke them all, and no one will bat an eye. I mean, you might
There,
get someone calling, some PETA supporter freaking out and calling the police, but as long as you're not doing anything quote unquote wrong, the police will just rock up. You're like, yeah, whatever, and leave.
yeah, pretty much.
As long as you don't
Uh,
act like a fucking idiot.
yeah. I mean, it's just a bit sad though too that some people couldn't be bothered, to spend a couple of pocket change for a condom, and now we have to live society along with some very fatherless people around.
So, out of curiosity, what the hell is a red squirrel anyway in England?
the red squirrel is a native animal in the United Kingdom, the British Isles,
Oh,
essentially.
a native species.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
luck trying to nuke that thing then.
Oh
And
my
for
God.
whatever it's worth, like don't think too much about the metaphoric, the symbolic aspect of displacing of the native population, because the allegory is very much there. But
There is gonna have a lot of This is gonna have a lot of problems down the line.
quite so. And I think
Oh,
the squirrels won't, and we know the squirrels won't like it they will when they're getting,
yeah,
rounded up and stuff.
because of course, I mean, let's use a Keir Starmer's logic on this too. So, if getting rid of squirrels because it's white supremacy is going to have itself some you know political, well, somewhat of a political advantage for him, quote unquote, then what comes next? The frogs or birds or what? And what is the outcome going to look like in the long run?
Yeah, I would go to bring up like the whole cane toad thing in Australia, but there's a vast difference between that and this.
Right, because cane toads are an introduced invasive species, and in comparison, like the red squirrel is a native species.
Yeah.
hmm And so you'll have to move on to the next native species of the United Kingdom, in which there are no doubt quite a good few of them.
I wonder if
So
they'll go after badgers next.
Badgers.
oh,
Whoo boy. Yeah, that's badgers don't fuck around. Let me tell you that. Anyhow, I mean, like, what's next on the list, Jolt?
I mean, after all of that, that basically would rightly warrant the righteous angers of the squirrels to descend upon the United Kingdom, which would rightly deserve it at this point,
Yeah, a
considering
native
considering
species.
trajectory that they're headed towards. Yes. Now, it is worth noting that whether this article is real is or not is not so much relevant, but rather the whole fact that more so because we live in an era of fake news. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope to God that's not real.
Oh, me neither.
What, like the whole litter boxes in schools thing?
Oh,
Oh
I
my
can
God,
believe the whole litter boxes in school thing.
litter
Like,
boxes.
it's. I mean, sure, it sounds like a crate. It sounds so left field, out of the blue, and it sounds so outlandish. But given the way that society is headed towards these days, I can actually believe that the whole litter box thing is unfortunate. May or may not be. Maybe more real than we think it is. Unfortunately.
Goddamn crazy cat ladies and school boards.
No, no, no. They'll just be doing a lot of stuff, including even, good forbid, catnip. Oh.
They're definitely gonna smoke it like weed. I guarantee you that.
But yeah.
I'm not kidding. I mean,
Oh no, no, 100%.
I've seen some of the some people around too, and well, if you put litter box in schools like that, and well, clearly people are gonna abuse for some free catnip so they can smoke. That I mean, looking at some people, I can see that happening. Eh.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and also, I mean, like, yeah, but continue on.
Yeah, so to move forward with the show and to move with the next items that we are going to continue with looking at the recent developments that have happened to the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2.
Oh my god,
Yes, and I know, as we know, last episode we did have a grand uncovering of what the Switch 2 entailed and all the hubbub and baggage that what people didn't like, such as
they
the game cards having no data and the pricing scheme for the games. But there's more. And if you thought those two were bad enough, wait till you see how they took a beloved feature that the Switch 2 would have and put heavy restrictions on it. I'm talking about the support for the GameCube controller.
the oh yeah, that's
See, this really stood out to me as, are you fucking ridiculous, Nintendo?
Right.
Please scroll down to where it says the requirements for obtaining this article of gaming,
Yes, this
whatever.
item of gaming
requirements.
classic, paraphernalia. Yes, so now of course, Nintendo has officially announced the launch of GameCube controller designed for Switch 2, but gamers are not happy about the restrictions.
It's Nintendo.
Yes.
What do you expect?
Now, the restriction is this, according to a recent trailer, Nintendo revealed that the GameCube controller will only be compatible with the Nintendo GameCube Classics library.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Modern Nintendo isn't the same as it was fucking 20 years ago. Instead, they're just putting on their own car cast from 20 years ago, pretending like they're the fucking same.
Oh no, this isn't the juicy part.
Oh boy.
No, this I didn't give a fuck about.
No, no, no. I mean, it's one thing to it's good on them for for at least preserving the classics at the very least
To a
in that
degree.
sort of way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But unfortunately, putting a classic thing for immersion is basically just bad taste. Like why put a GameCube thing when only to play on on GameCube games? Because you remember like they had Nintendo back then, like some 10 years or so ago, even with Wii U and Switch One, they supported the GameCube controller on games like Super Smash Brothers, and it worked.
The only reason being, it kicked off initially with the Wii console, where the launch model had the actual port so you could plug in your GameCube controller, and eventually they ditched that. However, I believe it was still in the Wii phase where they introduced the USB adapter, which then migrated up to the Switch One. And now it looks like they've decided to, we're going to try to pull away from the our ridiculous yet extremely popular controller, which is just no. I'm sorry. There's a big difference between using the Pro controller for this Nintendo Switch One
Mm-hmm.
and using the GameCube controller. There is a big difference.
And then what? Oh my! It's just so many levels of wrong.
Please tell me that there was more about this, because there's that.
What's the price of it, by the way?
Oh, that's the kicker. You expect to go and buy this in a fucking shop?
Most people would, yes.
Yeah, no. Joel, did you still have that information that
Yeah. You sent me an item on this, and let us go and have a look at this together. So the
God
Australian
almighty.
price for the Switch 2 controller has been revealed, and it's
so
right
I'm
now
not
it's
fussy about the
89.95.
I'm not fussy about that at all. I mean, $90 for a controller, it's Nintendo. You know,
No,
if that's going to
it's
cause you to bust a nut, drop you, fuck off.
right. And speaking of 89.95 for a controller in Australia, it's basically standard price for even for other stuff controllers here. Like an Xbox Series controller would have cost about the same as well.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
What the
not
fuck?
the requirements for purchase.
What
right.
the fuck?
Let's have a look at this. Okay, pre-purchase starts at 1800 24th of April 2025.
My,
Pre-purchase before 23.59 for release day, delivery. This product is exclusive to Nintendo Switch Online members. Right.
are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's not even the icing on the cake.
Oh boy. What are we into? Wait, what the fuck is this?
So there are
First
what I'm looking
round.
at is yes, there are rounds of pre-purchase, and it's a lottery to go into the draw.
A lottery. A fucking lottery.
You also have to have a certain online subscription. And how many hours of play did you need?
Are you fucking
50
retarded?
hours of gameplay on Nintendo Switch by 28th of February 2025, which is
So even the person writing this article has stated specifically, interestingly, you'll need to be registered with NSO for 1 year before purchasing and have 50 hours of gameplay on the Nintendo Switch by the 28th of February 2025.
I was hoping that the Onion would have wrote this article, but instead it's fucking Nintendo themselves who are this retarded.
no.
Are you
I
fucking
can't.
kidding me?
Nintendo must be under the opinion that nobody is going to want to use this controller outside of those classic games. I think that's
Whoever.
bullshit because when the Nintendo Switch was a thing, I purchased two controllers that were backwards compatible with the GameCube. Now, this controller isn't. This controller is purely designed for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think they should have made it compatible with the Nintendo Switch as well, but that's just me. Now, we've got a little thing here as well from, I can't pronounce that, Mesa Aftershock. If they're only releasing the GameCube controller for online features, if the online features get shut down, you'll have a useless, expensive piece of equipment. Yeah, that's pretty much what the Switch 2 is going to end up being.
Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ, my guy. What the fuck? Ah, whoever greenlit this kind of marketing, what the fuck were they thinking? Seriously, how many rocks were they smoking? When they thought, yeah, you know what, this is a good idea. Let's make our user base go all these hoops of bullshit just to enjoy a semblance of when Nintendo used to be good. And now it's being sold like a fucking iPhone.
Because of the whole Power World thing, I've got an idea that Nintendo's probably doing something similar in Japan, and the Japanese would probably be praising them for it.
I hope Pal World doubles down. Seriously.
Actually, that would be fucking hilarious if Power Worlds decided to release an update that allowed you to just literally link a Nintendo Switch Pro controller or this thing to their game.
Or better yet, I mean, how about Pal World
I mean,
probably some physical things too, out of spite.
you know what? You could theoretically that might be possible because you would be able to connect a Nintendo Switch controller into your PC, play the game through Steam, and there you go. I mean, it's not like one-to-one native support, but still better than nothing.
Tell me about it.
So yes, that is, if nothing else, that would actually be very, very, very salt-inducing up until the point where Power gets in, native release on Nintendo Switch 2. But the days of that will not be likely so long as Pokemon has the shits at them.
I swear. What if Power World ends up owning Nintendo down the line at some point?
What if they end up owning
Oh,
Disney?
Ooh boy.
I
There's gonna be
mean,
something.
it's getting there. It's getting there because Pocket Pair, the parent company that's in charge of Power World, have launched their own publishing arm. So with the growth that they're having, especially driven by Power World, I'd say their dream of doing that will actually get there at some sooner than you think.
Sometimes it makes me think, that with people, these big name companies just deciding to be so fucking retarded, makes Homer Simpson look like a very, very smart guy.
We're seeing in that, what we in that way, I do want to point out that that sort of thing is very similar to what we're seeing with in technology sectors as well, and it's not just in how they're handling consoles and gaming, but how they're handling freaking cars. It almost makes you to the point where that Homer Simpson's bubble car, if you watch that episode, is actually a very good idea in comparison.
Oh, that was a fun one.
Yep.
Completely destroyed his what was it, his brother's or cousin's business.
I don't know. Beats me. I still have to go back and rewatch.
Yeah, but it is basically a perfect symbol for the car of the future in that sense.
Oh my god. In the
Right.
future,
Like,
yeah, the future, more like
yes.
a fucking marketing ploy. Still, Joel, I mean, like,
Y-
what's next on the list? Just out of curiosity.
In that sense, though, before we get to that stuff, though, I think you kind of realize the point that we were trying to make is like with the whole car and console thing is that they basically add more features, but they put it super duper restrictive, only to like they just pile on a crazy outlandish bunch of restrictions, as is the case with getting a GameCube controller for the Switch 2.
Yeah, like why?
Right,
Why
like
go through all this shit?
why go through all these hoops? Why subscribe to an account, get put into a lottery, and then only be able to play GameCube classics with no reverse compatibility, like not being able to put it on a retro GameCube itself.
I
And
can understand the retro GameCube thing itself because, well, the console's more portable.
yes,
However, it would have been nice if they'd actually opened it up to allow other developers to take advantage of that controller itself.
yes. I mean, of course, it goes without saying that the amount of people who play even the newer Super Smash Brothers games with a GameCube controller is still really just out there. So, hum ho. But in the case of cars, you've basically they just keep adding all sorts of electrical whiz bangery, and then they just removing things to make simple features only to make the car more sophisticated, needlessly dumb and sophisticated with all
Yeah,
the
like,
questionable design choices.
why? This doesn't make no sense.
But
This,
that's pretty much the car, the future, and all of that stuff. So hum ho.
oh my god.
It's funny for a company that relies so much on retro, they're extremely restrictive with it.
Yep.
Right. Like they could have won a lot of money in that, like just nothing for doing nothing but selling nostalgia.
I swear that controller may have flown off the shelves if they like put it out with the Switch 2 when they sold it.
Hmm.
there were just so many bad decisions left and right.
All right, I think we've beaten this horse a little too much.
Yep.
Right.
Anyways, Jolt, let's spill the
Yeah, I
nuts.
mean, as you say so. So the next thing we've got to the show is, well, let's have a talk about one of the bigger, more hype movie releases out this year. That would be the Minecraft movie.
Ah, yes, the long-awaited Minecraft movie.
You can say whatever you want about the Minecraft movie, about its questionable design choices of combining live action and janky CG, about its writing and its dialogue and how it's become the butt of many jokes, and it's questionable, this movie is not for you sort of thing when it was announced,
Not
but
only, not only
it
that,
wasn't a
but
failure.
the lore. They fucked the lore so much. Even the most basic, they fucked the pooch on it.
Right, right. It was just more of a like they took so many artistic liberties just in order to make a fun time movie where parents could take their kids
Or
to
so we
watch
thought.
and not right. But let's just have a look at what we've got here. As
Oh
Hollywood
boy.
remains confused by the success of Minecraft, the director offers simple explanation for film's box office explosion.
Chicken jockey.
Yeah, it's it's something. Like, you still can't get over the whole, they made it so it's a CG thing by suit. Like, they took the 3D blocks thing way too, a bit too far.
You mean the Jack
I
Black movie
am
by Boombox?
Steve.
Yes, yes, it is the Jack Black movie.
Oh my
I'm Steve.
god. I swear to God, I mean, it did become popular, but not the way he wanted it to. That's for sure.
Right, and of all the things, they could really have chosen somebody else other than Jack Black to do it. Like, I mean, yes, I'll give him this. He made a good Bowser,
Yeah,
but
but at the
a
same
good
time, a
Steve.
fat guy as Steve.
You know, I have to admit, it was really fascinating to see just Jack Black really up high in the whole movie thing, and then all of a sudden, thunk.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, he hit the floor faster than a bowling ball.
Yep.
And that's not just the thing that happened in that movie if such a thing happened, but also, yeah, like they could have chosen somebody who was in less hot water than than after Jack Black did with his recent stunts and all that.
Oh boy,
Because,
there's also that.
yeah, 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 yeah. But that's just what it is. So what they're really saying of like, while Hollywood is basically trying to figure out why Minecraft is successful, the movie director Jared Hester believes that the answer is more simple than they realize. Fans just really, really like the IP, but
No shit.
come on, we both know it's a bit more than it's not as cut and dry as he makes it sound to be. I mean, yes, we all know this. Minecraft is a very big IP. Lots of people love it. Kids love it. Grown-ups love it. It has a massive, massive fan base, and and all these fans, at some point they were going to do a Minecraft movie, and now, all these fans are hankering for the movie. So there.
After the Halo,
Yeah.
Fallout, and Minecraft, Microsoft Gaming CEO says you're going to see more. Oh boy, I sure hope so.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
I have to wonder whether or not Jason Momoa had anything to do with this.
Hmm.
I mean, if you look at the whole Aquaman thing, it sort of fell off a cliff after Flash basically decided to just speed run through the whole thing.
You know, to give credit, I mean, I guess because like Jason Momoa has become a beloved actor to some degree in Hollywood movies and whatnot too. Maybe there could be some charm about it, but then again, like whatever the artists do in their personal lives are going to greatly affect the movies and whatnot too.
I swear, if anyone who watched the Stargate Atlantis show when it came out, you'd know the guy.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
I'll be honest. I'm surprised he didn't get into like the Marvel Cinematic Universe early on, simply because of the whole Stargate shit. But
You know, it's a funny thing. Like we find ourselves in interesting circumstances on movie and movie successes. So, and there's a bit of contextual wrap up to this as well. So first things first, let's look at some figures here. Minecraft pulled in the domestic box office and in theater release, 172 million US dollars in the US, 150 million US dollars internationally, for 320 million dollars,
Damn.
and it took the record, yeah, for best star for a video game movie. And in comparison, some of the other big releases by Hollywood and Disney in comparison,
oh no, they got Snow White.
yeah, let's see, Mufasa, The
Oof.
Lion King, 35.4 million domestic in its opening weekend. Captain America, 88 mil, and Snow White, 87 mil.
You know, the no oof.
Yeah, and because Minecraft did really well, it's yeah. Now, here's where things are getting a little bit more complicated in these times.
Oh boy.
With all the hubbub about the whole, the trade war on China that has been happening.
Yes, the
Yes,
tariffs.
yes. And then China has basically went off and in retaliation said they want to ban Hollywood releases from America in China.
Go for it. See what happens.
Right. I mean, yeah, sure. Deny Hollywood that share of the international market like they've been pandering to, and then China says nope. You want to do tariffs? No, we'll just deny you your movies.
Hey Jolt, just out of curiosity, what's the tariffs on China that Trump put nowadays?
I heard that from the last when I was listening on the radio and that first it escalated to above 100% tariffs
Oh,
on, and now they've raised it to 145%.
No, that was actually a mistake. It was originally 145%, but someone misspoke saying it was 125%.
oh shit.
145% was a correction.
145. Holy shit. Jesus.
Last I heard, China had theirs stuck at 125, and for now they're not going to raise it.
Oh my god.
I would hate to think how much it would cost to import a movie at this point. Piracy's going to be king again.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
I 100% bet on it, but if nothing else, we should embrace it for the fact that Hollywood is the Hollywood bubble has just gonna go pop if it hasn't already, and doubly even more so with the ban that China is planning to impose. So good riddance to a trash cinema, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Still, but all up though, I do want to say something more about this whole Minecraft movie that we've been seeing, and this part of a bigger trend that we've been seeing in the last couple of years is the absolute state of video game movie adaptations. Where
Well,
does
at least
Minecraft rank on this scale?
I have to wonder how close is it to the 1980s version of Super Mario Brothers.
Oh god, I remember that one still. It was interesting, to say the least, but wow. Just wow.
Mhm. Yeah, like I mean, of course, the video game movies of the 80s and 90s were really like goofy. We kind of know that already. And
Street
now,
Fighter.
like, yes, but now that we've hit the 2020s, video game movies have just basically really upped their game in quite a bit.
Yeah,
Indeed.
it's like having the Dragon Ball Evolution people turn around, kick them to the curb, and let's go hire some competent people. That actually care about the franchise.
Right,
You
let's go
know,
hire some people who really respect the source material, played the games, read part of the lore and world building, and listen to the fans.
you
Or they
know,
grew up with it.
a noble Jolt. You know what's funny? There is actually so many people, who are diehard fans of, the franchises and whatnot too, that would love, to do something for like the media they love so much about, right? But instead, of course, of hiring them, what do the executives do instead? They just go for to hire woke and retarded to say it's diverse, inclusive, or some shit like that, and watch their stocks tank like by the millions and say, "Oh, it's all the racists, it's all the fascists, this and that," isn't it?
It's funny how they like to talk about themselves.
Exactly. I mean, like, why the hell would you waste, like millions down the line hiring some talentless, useless narcissist instead of, someone who knows their shit. You know what I mean?
Well, there was the whole Witcher franchise fiasco when they were making the TV show.
Oh
Yeah, and
god.
then they got and then they eventually did away with Henry Cavill, and the whole thing just got fudged.
I
Instead
loved
of,
how the actor just said, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing that." The fans would hate it.
there's also, I mean, like the Snow White, but we should all just call it Slop White.
Weird, weird, weird.
Yeah, but
Uh,
in like, but in terms of quality of like I was trying to say here, like the quality of current video game to movie adaptations, like where would Minecraft like fall on that now? Like we've had some bangers in the last couple of years, like the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the live action one, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Gran Turismo, and Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Well, I gotta
Like
agree. Some of them they're actually pretty good, although some of them aren't, lore accurate as they should be. For a movie of high regard, they're still good. As an action movie, but probably more as a fan fiction than anything else.
I mean, be that as it may, the films are never really fully, meant to be a piece of would be canonical, more like a special side story of its own. But you get the point. It's more to do with how they yeah, express the anecdotes and all of that, like how they faithfully recreate the feeling of a movie. Unlike the certain failure, which I do have to add up into this, a very very recent Netflix adaptation of a video game turned into a TV series that Netflix has entered called Devil May Cry.
Oh boy.
Yes.
oh, I didn't know about Devil May Cry.
Yes. I mean, I know
Well,
Devil May Cry is like one of those games that really burst onto the scene in like the early days of the PlayStation 2, and then people loved it, and now it's I
Let me
now
guess, it's gone to the
Netflix has,
whorehouse and bent over.
in certain ways, yes, they have actually, unfortunately, and we're just gonna we're gonna skim through this, and now they've basically turned this into yeah, into a 2000
sorry about that.
yeah, into a thing that's basically into a favorite dream that's basically stuck into the early 2000s.
Wait, is this like anime Japanese style, or is this American trying to imitate Japanese style?
No, it's more like an Americanized thing that's trying to imitate Japanese style.
Oh god.
Yeah, but it's handled by Netflix.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
no.
man.
So it's an oh no thing. Like, let's ask the first question that Bounding into Comics says. What do the band Green Day, the country of Iraq, and Capcom's Devil May Cry action series all have in common? Nothing.
I wonder why. I wonder what it is.
Right. It's God, and now all of this has just made me all friggin' yeah. So
I
into
have to
it.
wonder what would have happened if they used FMV sequence animation, that level of animation in
Right.
their movie instead.
Right. Good grief! Like I would love nothing more than to
Boring.
use like FMVs and that sort of stuff. Make a full movie out of it though. That's like old school animation rather than try and do this, whatever that is.
Agreed. Oh
And
my god.
yes, and in so many ways, like they've
Hey,
yes, like there's people here have basically been upset about how Devil May Cry was handled.
hey, Jolt. I got an idea. How
Yes.
about we go to? I mean, to be put Silent Hill, right? But make it go through Desert Storm, and have all the protagonists fight against the big evil with the power of friendship. Maybe the hill was silent all along.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm fucking lightheaded.
I need to get sound effects because I still want to start using the chirping sound I've seen in TV shows.
Hey, that'd be a good addition. That's
I'm probably pretty sure there might be a way to add some of that into StreamYard in some way or another. Like, but none of this ham-fisted laugh tracks and all of that.
Oh hell no! I do not want a laugh track. That's going to be way too cheap. I'm sorry, but that's like blowing smoke up your ass. No, absolutely not. I just want like chirp, 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 chirp with complete silence because something's so fucking ridiculous.
No, not if nothing else though. The whole way that they handled Devil May Cry. Like, yes, there's people are basically up in arms about how they have put politicking and all that stuff, and they had to put Green Day over it. And I'm like, dude, Green Day hasn't been relevant since what, the late 90s.
I still like the music, but it's irrelevant now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and and like all friggin' old style punk bands, they have aged really poorly in this era.
mm, there was a oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but
What about here we go, Tony Hawk? Yeah, the guy's been quite relevant, all right? Huh?
right, I mean, yes, he's old and stuff now. He's in his 50s, but he's still kicking around. They're remaking the Tony Hawk games, and yeah, I know he was a thinger for his time, but now he's just he's still doing his own thing. Just he's kind of in the background. Skateboarding's just not got the thing in that it had in the golden era. It doesn't, but still, it's there. But anyway, I guess that what I was trying to highlight with this a little bit about this whole Devil May Cry thing is how not to handle a game adaptation versus, you could say what you want about Minecraft, but at least Minecraft handled it somewhat better, despite basically making a meme out of itself in the process. But it still
Agreed.
succeeded.
Well, I agree. The Minecraft movie was pure meme material.
Oh yeah, but you know, at least it could be worse. Let's just say that.
Literally,
Yeah.
could be way
So,
worse. Mm.
all right. Now we've got this whole next segment to move on from the movie stuff. We have this whole segment, and now we're going to dedicate to
Oh
looking at
boy.
what furries are up to.
Oh boy. What's the
Bashing
fandom been up to?
furries.
What the fuck has
Like,
the furry been up to these days?
well, let's just say now we're going to let's just say now, like, what if go back to the days of high school, and don't you wish that you could just go up there, give a furry a wedgie, and friggin' and hang him by his lock, and hang him on his by his by his underwear to the locker?
Well, I got the
Someone's
bad.
been watching The Simpsons and The Mask too much.
Yeah, but
I
unfortunately, nobody ever does that.
right because it furry in large part seems like it's nothing more than an over glorified high school where people still have the mindset of being in high school.
I am not surprised.
Therefore, the comparison must be made. So we have an opinion piece
The
from a
student
rag called
life.
"The Student Life."
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
right, which is to put it like just to discover what it is a college newspaper in Southern California. Wow, interesting.
California. Fucking California.
Yes, yes. Okay, we're gonna have let's read on what this person, what Xavier Callan has to say in this article. One time, my friend and I were in a craft store in San Francisco called Mendel's. We discovered we were both furry apologists and think they are grossly misrepresented and mistreated in our culture.
Are you sure about that?
Right. I mean, it's come a long way since the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a vast difference with the way furry is accepted generally in the community versus the way it was either when I got in or when it initially, quote unquote, started in the modern era.
Or then again, I mean, do we even accept ourselves to some degree? Think about it, Jolt.
Now, the
No,
last thing you want to leave lying around at a US fur con is a bunch of cricket bats because furries will just like slaughter each other with them.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
All
Furries
right.
emerge.
Let's have a look. Let's keep going on. Immediately after I said the word furry, a staff member from an upstairs office peeked out the window, carefully tiptoed down the stairs, and asked in a discreet manner, like we were trying to buy hard drugs or tell the password to some backdoor speakeasy, "Do you need help finding anything specific?" Later, when randomly scrolling through the Google reviews of this place, Mendel's, I realized
Hmm.
that basically 75% of them were from fursuit makers.
Oh,
Yeah. Did we accidentally almost tap into the underground world of fursuit manufacturing? Are furries actually everywhere? And have they just been condemned so far underground that they have to be covert in their identities?
Holy shit! These people got their hands up their ass.
damn. Then
Like,
again, it's journalism, so there's that.
quote, if you, I mean, it is more like a student article, but you get the point. Like, honestly, like, imagine this, like, for a second there, like, you want fursuit supplies, but they have to be in some sort of in the black market for it now because nobody would sell them otherwise. Like, really, dude? Like fur, well, yeah, synthetic fur and all that stuff.
I look, just anyone reading this that thinks this is true, that's complete absolute bullshit. There is more. You do more than you don't just use fake fur to make fursuits. You make coats, you make bags, you make accessories with fake fur. So just because there isn't a fur suit shop where you can go buy all your accessories, you just go to like the next place over.
Literally.
I mean, what was that? 50 Shades of Grey. They were using like the hardware store to buy all their sex toys from. Shitty example, but yeah.
What the fuck?
I never watched that movie or read the book, but yet I know about the franchise because of the news. Didn't we actually talk about that at one point?
I think we
mean,
did at some point. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe. I'm not sure.
hmm
Anyways, I mean, let's keep on going, Jolt.
yeah, because there's still quite a bit here. So we'll skip through the background and the history of its stuff, and now get to the whole, why furries have been online as a cultural taboo, and it's largely because they become associated solely with sexual practices.
No shit.
Yeah, they've been outwardly criticized because certain people or groups in this community purvey particularly vulgar, pornographic, fetishistic, or otherwise sexual content.
Well, not to mention there's a bunch of fucking idiots that go out and do stupid things
Yeah, it doesn't
as
have to be.
furries.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just furries either. Either too.
Yeah, and it's like, they say that the student Xavier says this though. I'd go as far as to say that condemnation of furries, even distinctly as a fetish practice, reinforces tenets of purity culture, sexual shame, and sex negativity,
Huh?
opening discourse towards the outward condemnation of the kink and fetish culture that was foundational to the
Huh?
establishment of self-expression concepts, mainly LGBT self-expression in American society.
Okay, I'm just
What?
going to hold you there. Take that fucking alphabet mafia soup shit out of the furry fandom.
It's L.
Please.
Yeah, it's LGB. Not. There's no such thing as TQ plus. Just LGB.
Hence why I
Or
said
hey,
that
you can always go with the LGTV.
it's this is self-expression and all of that is you take it too far and it just basically becomes a friggin' slippery slope, and that's what furry has kind of devolved himself into. With all these pretty interesting, characters doing pretty interesting stuff.
I'm going to have to also point out
Huh?
that whole alphabet mafia soup thing may also be your issue and not the furry itself.
Probably. But then again, like, what the fuck are they describing over here? Hold on, let me read this. White cisgender heterosexual celebrity like Benson Boone can be on the cover of Rolling Stone. What the fuck? Where a vaguely androgynous religious fetishism is acceptable. Okay, as long as it's post-ironically embodied by Anderson. What the fuck?
Anderson,
I'm kind of scared to click that link there.
Oh, please, I
Vega
want to
Lux.
see this. I want to see this. I want to see
I know.
this.
Oh
Addison
boy.
Ray Addison Ray in Adidas Battle Bikini Backlash.
What?
This
Bruh.
Addison Ray Easterling. Addison Ray in an Adidas bikini
Adidas.
said on
Father.
one breast said father, on the other breast son, and then
How
somewhere
much would she have gotten paid for that?
Probably with the millions, I bet. Probably. Oh
it's
my god.
yes, this is the whole thing, and on the bottom, Holy Spirit.
You're kidding, right?
Oh, good God.
Good lord.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Of course, it's all on Instagram. Wait.
Yeah,
Oh
I'll
my
talk,
god.
all that stuff. Like, I'll talk to God when I'm dead.
And of course, it's Instagram with praying. Praying to what? I swear to
Right.
God. Speaking of
This
which,
is, I mean, look, yeah, this is some pretty egregious self-expression. I will say that much. But is, wow. Okay. But in comparison, though, like, where's the whole thing? Because they're trying to say, oh, there must be a standard because okay, white people can be, white people can be on Rolling Stone as they're basically, we where they blur the line, where they wear androgynous clothing, like they look like a twink or something. I don't know.
eh,
And or you can just wear okay, like you can wear a bikini that says Father, Son, Holy Spirit, but not be a furry and a gay one at that, and blah de blah de blah.
yeah, like the Vug. Like with the Vug. The Vug, man.
See, what's important to understand here is that a lot of people are, especially in the furry community, in today's age, have got this sort of like depression and shyness, and this is explaining how they feel. And unfortunately, you have to sit there and go, "You fucking retard!" You're focusing on something that's meaningless. I mean, that Binky thing was a joke. I'm sorry, but that's
Bikini,
ridiculous.
yeah, the
What
bikini
you're
was a joke.
concerned about is a fucking joke. You go out and you hang around with your people just because there's no goddamn fur shop. If you find that there is enough people turning around and buying stuff and you want to go, well, let's make a furry own business. Fine, start a furry business. Start selling shit left, right, and center. Don't just do it on Etsy, which is now a shit show.
Oh boy, I should probably I should probably light up a smoke as well too, because again, some of the online communities and whatnot, not just furry, Sonic, My Little Pony, whatever have you, they are their own world. I would say, and oh boy,
Yes, but they don't make it to the same spotlight or whatever that, and everybody seems more fixated on pushing furry more than the others, like My Little Pony or the Sonic Community,
but
Homestuck, whatever you
but
name it,
then
Sorry,
whatever.
but
it's
then
like
again, aren't
one
they furries too?
paragraph. Joel, there's
Hmm?
this one paragraph down that starts off with furries are truly subversive.
Right.
What?
Sorry,
Furries. No, that you're right, Noble. You are 100% spot on because this reads like something that's completely out of touch. Right. Furries are truly subversive because their self-expression doesn't align with current trends and expectations of expression. Unlike
Huh?
Addison Rae and her Father, Son, and Holy Spirit Bikini, furries aren't seeking cultural validation through their acts of subversion. Okay, Noble is spot on.
Sub-
That reads something so out of touch.
look.
subversive. What the fuck?
Look, the furry community, at least majority of it that I've seen, has been online, which means just because in your area um, doesn't mean it's the same everywhere else in the country. Take my okay, I'm going to take a moment here, but about a decade ago now, I had someone warn me to stay away from the anime and the furry community in my state. This is a person who wasn't a furry, but this individual had interactions with the anime community and the furry community were all sort of meshed together, and they would have like this thing at a university, their own little
Good
con.
God. Good
The
God.
thing is that the local furries were known for being a bunch of fucking sociopaths.
Then again, it's a little too
And
late.
I
All
was
the
warned to stay away from them. This person didn't, I don't think they actually knew I was a furry, or at least they didn't give any sort of like hints that I am. But I was warned to stay away from both communities because of how fucked up they are.
oh, you poor sweet summer child.
So that's my local experience. Do I think no, I don't. There's the Raiders that I was a part of for a hell of a lot longer. And I've seen other communities where they're either just as unfucking hinged or generally fine or somewhere in between. But to think that this is what do they live in, like some southern state where everyone speaks with a thick accent?
Texas.
That's why then.
There we go. Anyway, the point is right now, what really struck out at me is that one line that says furries aren't seeking cultural validation through their acts of subversion. And all I have to say to that is, bruh,
Uh,
bruh, you are basically doing all this sort of stuff. You're wearing freaking pup hoods for crying out for God's sake, and you're not friggin' you're not seeking cultural validation for doing that, bro. Come on. You want?
That's
Yeah.
swear to God.
No. You're friggin' projecting at that point. Come on.
Literally.
You do your shit because you want your shit to be acceptable to the mainstream, no matter how friggin' degenerate it is.
okay, I'm just going to stop and interrupt again because, look, there is a certain place where I will do furry. There is a certain place where I'll turn around and play with like pop rockets and that sort of shit, sparklers. There's a certain place where I'll go and do my work. there's a certain place where I'll go and read, like the fucking library. But I'm not going to turn around and take library books to the place where I go play with fake fireworks. I'm not going to take the library shit and go and do it at work. That doesn't make sense. Why is it that people, for some reason, today think everything should all be mashed together as one big sort of clusterfuck party?
Or worse, make it all about themselves and their entire fucking personality.
Right.
That's even worse too. Oh my god! It's actually the most common way people make themselves insufferable is to make a certain topic all about their personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't wear your fucking fursuit at school on every fucking day of the year.
Right.
If there's going to be a special event where you can bring it in, fine, great, put it on for a few hours during it. But God, there's no reason to wear this to wear your fursuit like 24/7.
And this is why we have the whole people being cats, kitty litter stuff at schools.
God, tell me about it.
Anyway, just the last couple lines. This will prove interesting in this article. Our treatment of furries is a microcosm of structural violence against unconventional identities.
Huh? What?
Yeah, I bet this type of person would bash on Christians.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wait, they already did.
Yeah, with the Father, Son, Holy Spirit bikini.
Atheist
I mean,
moments.
that's taken just this. The person who's behind this, that thinks this, needs to understand that was taking the piss out of Christianity. How many Christians are going to get bent out of shape about this? Very, 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 very few. Most that I've actually met roll their eyes at this, and it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But if this was a Muslim thing,
oh boy,
run. Just run.
Mm-hmm.
The imminent shit show. Oh my
Sorry,
God.
just hearing part of that paragraph just triggered me.
Like I said, the person who wrote this reads as if he was completely out of touch with any of that. Anyway,
tell me about it.
Yeah, the vast majority of furries, online at least, are constantly maligned, either for being associated with a sexual taboo that people deem unacceptable, or for originality that people also deem unacceptable.
To be unacceptable. I wonder what it is.
Right. At a more basic level, they're condemned for authentic acts of self-expression, regardless of how they manifest.
What?
Right. And the last paragraph. Maybe we should reconsider what values are held in this regard. Is it not more meaningful to embrace actual authenticity, regardless of optics, rather than curate ourselves in an effort to fit within the limits of what our identities are allowed to be?
I'm going to say something incredibly upsetting to a lot of people here, potentially. But does this have anything to do with like people pretending to be transgender, going to a female prison, and then just basically having an orgy? Because, well, yeah.
Right, and what exactly is the identity in trans? A friggin' alternate, unconventional identity.
No, they're just role playing as what they want, what they would like to be. Not.
And where is the thingo? Right? Is trans an authentic manifestation of self-expression? No.
I just can't.
You're just done with
this shit. The problem is that there are people who are authentic, if you want to use the terminology in this, but then there are people who take the piss, and there are people who use the whole thing as a way to turn around and to bully and harass others. And I am sorry to say that, yes, that's while it's in the trans community, it's also in the furry community, you fucking idiot.
Right, because there's all sorts of unconventional identities, and furry, there seems to be a big overlap in the entire umbrella. Yeah.
You have to be so fucking blind to think that you can just run around and do whatever the hell you want, whenever the hell you want.
Consequences.
See, this is an excellent, as I would have said before, this is an excellent example about how modern furries and modern people in other communities tend to see things, and it's not healthy. It's not realistic. It is a joke. You're being selfish. You're being self-centered. This is not how it should be. This is not how people generally operate, and this is the reason why you have problems 99% of the time, because your head is up your fucking ass. Is there a protest right now out in the US on the streets where people are demanding the furry community go away? Is that happening with the trans community? Is it happening with the gays? I
Oh
mean,
my
holy
god.
fucking shit. In the 1980s in my state, if you're a gay, that was a criminal offense. And yet, for some fucked up reason in 2020, if you're trans, it's the same thing. You're fucking ridiculous. This is the reason why you are depressed. Pull your head out of your ass. Dress normally when you go out. I mean, there's a fucking trans twat that every bloody morning almost I go to work and I see this fucking idiot staring at not just me, but other people as they come and go, like they're waiting to be attacked or something. It's like you're out there purposely trying to get attention. There is no reason for that.
Yeah, trying to get a reaction of people. That ain't cool.
You're fucked in the head. Go off and live your life, and probably don't drink so much goddamn milk, because I've seen that idiot downing like 2 liters of milk. I discovered that a lot of my issues were from fucking milk, and I wasn't drinking that much.
Really? How?
Let's see. Lower abdominal pain, trouble sleeping, chest pains, sleep issues.
Right. And was that just from normal milk, light milk, soy milk, whatever? You name
Normal
it?
milk, ice cream, chocolate, and cheese weren't causing the issue, but it was like milkshakes. I would make thick milkshakes, and those were causing the issues. But pulling back, this article, if you sit there and this is how you believe things are, pull your head out of your ass for a moment, try putting on some sunglasses and a hat and some like overcoat or something, and just try to walk down the street without constantly looking around.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you live in an area where you got some. There was this story I saw recently where this black dude sort of got some free food from someone. And the moment the guy stepped out of the car, he went stabby with the dude. It's like, yeah,
that ain't right.
That's not going to happen all the time. But probably stay away from that food chain if you.
Yep. I mean,
what? Yeah, try dressing differently, going down the street, and see how people respond.
Right.
Yeah, just casually look. Don't stare at everyone like you're trying to find something like lost treasure or whatever.
Like there is again always a right time and place for self-expression.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That I heavily agree with. Oh my god,
Yeah.
It's hard to describe just the amount of shit show. I mean, about people who want to make everything about themselves too. Then again, I mean, remember what I said about people making like a topic their entire personality.
That article pretty much exemplifies it.
Exactly. Like, if you want people to like you, you just be yourself, right? In a way that everybody accepts you. Don't just make.
And it's just I just find it funny, like the guy said in his ending paragraph, authentic form of a self-expression, right?
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. And nothing else is more authentic than just being yourself. Not
in the right way. In the right way.
Well, don't do it in such a way where you're standing out. So don't have like a giant light behind you playing music. Like that fucking idiot I see at the bus stop sometimes with the damn little Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, I mean,
the worst part is when you get someone homeless doing that. It's like, or there was one time this dude standing in front of an ATM with a bucket asking for money.
Well,
in
like what? It's
front
gonna
of the
fucking rob you.
ATM.
Oh my god. Yeah, that guy's probably gonna rob someone.
All right. So we have reached the end of what we've got for this week. And wow, what a doozy we've gone through.
Yeah. Clearly, I mean, like
Um,
it hasn't really been everything, but what can you do, right?
no, there were some really interesting items, and we were, and I do dare say this week Noble really pulled through.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, who'd like to just wrap things up quickly with a quick closing statement?
Can Gil
Uh,
go first? Because I want to calm down.
sure thing. I'll give you a bit of some time for a breather. But yeah, then again, as well too, it's because what the fuck? Literally, this is not the world we grew up in. This is a complete massive shit show. Especially when Nintendo. I can tell you guys that 20 years ago, at least in the 2005, yeah, Nintendo had a much different face than what they are nowadays.
Mhm.
The fact, I mean, like the age-old story that I'll go to the store, buy a CD, go back home and have fun, right? Those were the days, and well, when more things to look up to. But
Yeah.
yeah, look at all that and like, you ask yourself, like, why? Why go through all this just for the sake of oh, it's the future or some shit like that, like, or just like rub it on everybody's faces to be like, Topic X is all about me and everything, bro. Yeah. And then not even the people who are into Topic X like you for that. It seems. I mean, whenever the funny thing is, whenever you cross some of those people, you think that they're just going to be one and done with, but no. Oh boy, sometimes there can be way too many of them fuckers around too. I mean, am I wrong? Hey, Noble.
Uh, that's my response.
I can see. Yeah, but what about you, Jolt?
I think, in large part, aside from the whole rage against like the head British twat wanting to kill all the squirrels in Britain, has made me enraged.
Yeah, like what the
Yeah,
fuck is the deal with that?
yeah. I mean, whether or not it's a real article, I couldn't. For the life of me, I was looking at it. I was like, "Was this real?" I was like, and when I couldn't find it, I was like, "No surprise." But then again, considering the absolute state of modern journalism, yeah, I mean, you can't really tell what's real or fake these days. So
Ah, don't be too surprised, I'd say.
yeah, but no, otherwise, I just think, yeah, I honestly, I think furries just need to be put back into the hole, need to be put back into the closet and
Yeah,
learn
like
what authentic self-expression done with, is really is.
mm-hmm. It's just, I mean, like, if you really, want people to accept you, just be for who you are in a way that you
Yeah.
actually are instead of some made up bullshit that's, well, for one, ain't you, and second of all, people will not appreciate that at all.
Hmm. Exactly. Anyway, Noble, has all the rage left your system now?
No, but I should be able to explode it now in a more appropriate manner.
Hopefully.
Good, 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 good.
So let's look at hunting squirrels because of the whole racism thing. That is so American of the British to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck is the deal with that?
The Switch 2. Personally, I would have been tempted to actually buy the controller, but at this point, it's like, fuck no. If I can
Yeah.
get one used, I'm definitely picking it up. But yeah, no, the GameCube thing, no. Mindless Craft, taking a step back because I thought the movie was a joke. It's like, yeah, I can see how it would be successful. So I'm going to give them a pass and just sort of bury my head in the sand if I start seeing like the sequel, third one, and then a prequel because fuck. Devil May Cry. They're trying something different, I'd like to think, but
Your hopes
as
are
for the
not too high,
whole
right?
that last segment we were going off about with the whole to me the article stood out more as this is how people who are causing the problems see the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
exactly.
until you actually try to interact with the world as a quote unquote normal person, you can't really tell just because someone has a bad reaction to something. Here's an excellent example. There's this guy on Reddit who had a little post about how he admitted to being a racist and he will never change because every time he sees a black person, he goes into a full on panic mode. And explains that when he was a kid, about 10 years old, him and his mother were walking home from the shops. Three black dudes walked up and demanded money. His mother said, I don't have any. And then this 10-year-old kid got to watch these three black people beat the fuck out of his mother. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on a minute. That's trauma, not racism. You're a fucking idiot. Get help. But that's never going to happen. In
Oh
Australia,
no, why would they ever?
I think this was in New South Wales. I think it was in Sydney or somewhere. But this woman was afraid of Hispanic people or some other sub whatever. And she was upset about this simply because a pack of those fuckers decided to break into her house, attack her, and rummage through the place. And she's upset because now every time she sees someone from that community, she goes into full-on panic mode. That's how you should be responding to the thing. This is trauma. This is upsetting, and it's not fair on me or anybody who might actually be a friend of mine who is of that. You get the point.
Yes, yes.
Stop thinking like a fucking idiot and try to fit in.
There you go. Got out of your system.
Yep. I could probably go on for another 45 minutes to an hour, but whatever.
At that point, you basically need your own talk show where Noble basically channels out all of his pent up rage.
Yep. All the sad shit I see online. Fucking Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the plus side, at least it'll be better. It'll be way better than what passes for these talk shows these days. But yeah, gotta wrap up. So,
Oh
to
yeah.
all of you, I say thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. Going through what's happening in the world as usual. And as always, our episodes are available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Play.fm, iHeartRadio, BitChute, and more further down the line. Well, that's all we got for the week. Farewell, and until next time.
And until then.
Bye. I blame myself for this taking so long.